We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
It's the dust and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's red, white, and blue. Laid out, he's alive. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. It's the red, white, and blue. Laid down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. It's the red, white, and blue. Stand on the front line. It's the red, white, and blue. Pay the ultimate price. He was the man I was when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you know him, you will understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flags still wave. And then he came home with all he wanted. It's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Laid down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. All these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Stand on this line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. To pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Laid down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. 40 stars and stripes. March in line. March in line. Hey. Hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, Erie County. I have a voice back. It's not 100%, but we're getting there. We're getting much, much better. It was better than, excuse me, last week where I could barely talk, but we struggled through the show. Skipped the show on Sunday because I was in the hospital, and that's okay. I was a little dehydrated. I had a little infection on the back of my throat. Tons of needles sticking out of me in every which way, shape you can imagine. Tons of antibiotics. Great people at St. Vincent got me whipped back to shape pretty quick. And of course, now just staying home, taking it easy, home antibiotics, um, and my voice is coming back. I know there was like one hater on social media that's like, I said, sorry, I can't do the show. I don't have a voice. He was good. And of course, he went right into, you know, anti Trump stuff, which had nothing to do with my throat infection. So that's how it goes. But that's okay. This Here we are. It's a gloomy Wednesday. Appreciate everybody coming out. It's nice to see the channels lighting up. Um, you know, yeah, we got everybody. Oh yeah, all the channels are lit up except for X. We've been playing with the backgrounds a little bit, try to get a little different contrast. I think the flag was a little bit too much. It was a little more distracting when we're trying to do the videos. But Lance, Kim, Josh, Gwen, April, Stan, oh, the gang's all showing up. I appreciate you guys coming in here. Like I said, we could have probably made through Sunday late afternoon, but I was like, no, we're just gonna take it easy and we'll come back on Wednesday and ready to go to work. And here we are, Wednesday to go to work. And that's what we do here. A lot of things going on, of course, lots of things going on post election. All it's funny how everybody gets fired up for the elections and everyone's sparking and screaming at each other. The elections are over and it's just quiet. Isn't that funny how that just ramps up and gets everybody fired up, and then once they they we get through it, the winners take a victory lap, the losers take their signs down. It's a sucky feeling, but unfortunately, that's how it works. We saw a lot of good races, we saw a lot of good candidates, we saw some good races. I hate to say it, but I pretty much called them as I saw or I thought they were going to turn out. I was pretty much right on everything. The Jasmine one, I had a sneaky suspicion that she was going to pull it off because the new Erie hate group, that's all they want to do. And speaking of which, I'm not a big Erie Times News fan. I'm not. I don't watch it. I don't read it. I don't pay for it. But Dave is being the good guy that he is. He always sends me good articles. And AJ Rao put a nice article up about how the registration in Erie County has started to change. And I tell you what, this is the good one. I hope get everybody's paying attention. If you don't catch it, you can watch it on the replay. This is actually from the Erie Times News from the Democrat chairman. Boy, I tell you what, they really had to kind of eat some crow on this one. And they actually had to admit that the trend, I mean, I'll let you guys read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to straighten my voice out, but you guys can read it. It's basically saying that the decline of Democrat voters is consistent with trends statewide. Wow. Erie County Democratic Party Chairman Sam Tellico said the decline in Democrat voters is consistent with the trends statewide. I'll tell you what, I hate to say it. No, I do like to say it. I told you so. I told you so. And I told you so. I don't care what the Democrats say. I don't care how much they throw hate at us. I don't care how much they call us Nazis and they call us all these names in the book. People are tired of it. People are absolutely tired of the hate. And speaking of Nazis, and it's so funny how they love to call us Nazis. But look at this unfortunate shooting that just happened to where a gentleman, took the lives of two Jewish people. Now, let's think about that for just a second while you guys finish reading the article. It was the Nazis that were trying to eliminate all the persons of Jewish descent. That was what they did. Okay. He was bad. He was evil. We all came together. We kicked his little booty ass all over Europe and back to where he came from. And that's what we do. So how does the Democrats have the nerve to call us Nazis when we're not shooting people in the streets because of the religious beliefs, because they're Jewish? That everything that they say, everything that they do, every finger they point at us is exactly what they're doing to themselves. They're trying to deflect it back off of them and say, we're doing it. We're not gunning down people in the streets that had nothing to do with nothing. A nice young couple were just walking and this gentleman unalived them because they were Jewish. That's what Nazis are. That's what they do. Just because we don't agree with the Democrat philosophies, which, not my words, not my words. See, I had a guy accuse me. He's like, you don't validate any of your points. Well, here's my point. This is right from the Erie Times News. I'm not paraphrasing. I am quoting the Erie Times News. So that way one of the haters will say, you just make stuff up and you don't validate any of well, they're my opinion. It's a show. It's a talk show about opinions. And when I create an opinion, I usually try to have a news source. I don't always use Fox. I don't use Newsmax. Sometimes I'll throw CNN in there just to say, look at this is where I'm getting my my opinions from, is the things that I read. So, don't. And I've told you once, and I've told you 1,000 times, do not buckle to their words, because that's all they're trying to do, is to browbeat you down and to try to make it worse than it really is. Because they're the Nazis, they're the fascists, they're the ones trying to silence us because we have a different opinion of their wackadoodle philosophies. Today, I should have grabbed the article, but AOC wants to shut ICE down. Just shut it down, close it down. Well, of course she does, because they're losing their base. They're losing all that stuff that they gained, they lost. Welcome aboard, sir. You're live.
Good evening, Brian.
How are you doing?
What's going on? I see you got. I almost forgot about the show tonight. I just happened to turn on Facebook and Thursday or Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night. And like I said, we had your article there, and I hope you got to see the actual.
Yeah, I seen the picture.
Because that's all they're doing right now is crying. That's all they're doing. I mean, I was shocked that he actually said what he said. I figured he would sugarcoat that and backspin this and whitewash it, and it's not as bad as it seems to be. But man, he's like, no, we're losing. No shit.
Yeah.
I've been telling you that for years.
Well, I ain't got much tonight, other than I watched television today, and I seen they had the Erie EMTA bus going around Erie with Mike Kelly and I don't know if the HUD secretary, I believe. Did you happen to catch that?
Yeah, he was the HUD secretary, and then Fetterman showed up in his shorts and his hoodies, looking all proper and primped like normal.
I didn't see him there.
He was at the Bayfront. There were some photos of him down at the Bayfront Convention Center with their little powwow.
Oh, I didn't see him on any of the things there, but one man who was absent. It was the mayor. I didn't happen to see the mayor there.
What? Well, because Mike Kelly's there. It's a.
Oh.
If that was like just a Fetterman thing, or if you had the governor there, or the lieutenant governor, oh yeah, he would have been there. But maybe he's a little he took a little whooping the other day, and maybe he's just keeping a low profile.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the city councilmen there. Jasmine wasn't there. Chucky Boy wasn't there.
Yeah, Chucky's licking his wounds.
I didn't see any of them. Matter of fact, I looked at every, well, maybe I didn't see the same news report that you did, but I seen them stand there was a group of about, I don't know how many it looked like, 8, 10, 12 maybe, and I didn't recognize one of them other than Mike Kelly.
Yeah, they were, most of them were the big hot shots. I mean, those were the HUD guys.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, where's the mayor and all these guys? It's money coming into the city. Which they always say it's a good thing. Well, if it's a good thing, why weren't they there?
It's so funny, to watch the comments. Mike Kelly couldn't save a bus of burning nuns, and they'd still ding him. Well, it's funny, you spend a lot of time up in Erie. Maybe you should be in Butler where you belong. Well, then he's in Butler. Well, you can never come up to Erie and do anything for Erie. It's one of those things. He can't do it right. No matter, the Democrats hate him. They can't take him out. They've thrown every Democrat Erie wannabe at him, and he just whomps them. So they're pissed off about that.
Yeah, you'd seen. I did. Just change the subject a little bit. I seen they did a story on TV about these mini bikes.
I saw that,
So
and of course, I
I don't know
thought
if
of
you've
you.
seen it or not. Did you happen to catch that?
I did see that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I wrote Chuck an email regarding that, a short one. Actually, it wasn't even about that. It was about something. It was about the garbage in this town.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
garbage, and he happened, but then I actually I sent him a video of somebody dumping garbage in the hood over here,
Oh, wow.
and but he replied, and then I also said I in the email that I wrote him, which had the video attached to it. I said, I see that they did a story on these mini bikes. I said, I might do a video on that or not. He replied to me regarding the mini bike problem, and he says, and he explained a couple things about it. And he says, "You have any solutions to the problem, the mini bike problem?" So I wrote him back. I says, and I'll give you my solution to this. I think we went over this before.
Well, we've talked about it. It's a hot ticket item in Erie. I see them all the time flying around. I go, someone's going to get killed, then it's going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
And another thing I found out, which they did that story on the news on television, it was in the same story, and I went on their website and downloaded their little cheat sheet, so to speak, about the different vehicles, mini bikes, scooters, blah blah blah.
Right.
I didn't know these scooters, these little scooters, electric electric motor operated scooters cannot be on the road. It's illegal. Totally illegal to be on the road. I never knew that.
Well, the ones I see are the little gas powered, 5-horse Briggs and Stratton old school mini bike. They still.
Oh, that's the mini bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get to that here shortly.
Oh,
but
sorry.
I just as Joel Natale would say, I just pivoted a little bit there regarding these scooters.
Right.
But regarding the mini bikes, I gave him my solution to the problem. Now, I'm going to run this by you, and you tell me what you think. Now, back in the day, if you pulled over a vehicle, let's say it was a car, let's say it was a junk car, and you cited the person, let's say it wasn't inspected, registration was out. So you write them the ticket, you call a tow truck, you tow the vehicle.
Right.
The junk vehicle goes to the tow yard. Now, if the guy doesn't come and pick that vehicle up after a certain amount of time, guess what? They get to dispose of that vehicle.
They sell it for whatever they can sell it to recoup the
sell
money
it or send it to the scrap yard if it's a piece of junk. Now to the mini bike problem. Here's my solution to that. Some little kids riding down on that 5-horsepower Briggs and Stratton motor, little mini bike. You pull them over, ink them up a citation, call for the tow truck, you tow the vehicle. Now that vehicle's at the tow yard. Guess what? There's no registration. There's no nothing on it. There's no insurance, and there's no title because it's a piece of trash.
It's no VIN. There's no VIN number on those things, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably not. So now the tow yard has that vehicle. Now who's going to claim that? Now they cannot release that vehicle unless there's proof of ownership.
Correct.
Now who owns it? Who knows? It's a piece of junk. Guess what? That vehicle doesn't come back on the road again.
No, if they shouldn't be there in the first place.
Right, but the point is, it's done.
Yeah.
See, now
absolutely.
what they do now, I think, if the police would even charge them, they just let them take the bike home again. And guess what? It's going to go back on the street again.
Oh, come on! Now you're just being mean. Those kids would push that mini bike home and they would park it because
they'd park it, right?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my solution to the problem. You get it off the street permanently.
It's right in the vehicle code. I mean, if it's not insured or registered, it does not have the privilege of being on those streets.
Right, but right, exactly. But let's look at the vehicle situation. If it's a car, the guy can go back and get the car.
Right.
And it's going to be back on the street again because he has the ownership, he has the title.
Yeah.
The tow yard will release that vehicle to him because he has ownership papers.
Right. As long as
you don't have ownership papers, he can't release the vehicle to anybody.
No. And they'll only release that vehicle if it's got a current registration, current insurance, and
I believe that's true.
Yes.
I do believe.
Yes, you have to have all three, the three combination to get your car back. Because if it was towed because it doesn't have insurance, they're not going to give it back to you because if you don't have insurance, you're not getting the car back. You've got to have a driver's license, registration, and insurance current for that vehicle.
There you go. Now,
Plus
a mini
the
bike
impound.
has absolutely nothing.
They got nothing.
So they can't release the vehicle.
Nope. No.
Problem solved.
Scrunch them up and sell them for scrap metal. Send them to China.
Vehicles off the street forever.
I ain't got a problem with it, but then again, the political powers to be in the city won't ruffle feathers. Yep, they won't.
And I mentioned that in my email to them.
Yep, they will.
I said, "Well, you're going to get some parents that might complain, and if the tow company buckles under, the whole system collapses."
Yeah,
so that's that system that I just explained to you.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're right on the money, and you and I have ridden in that seat before, so we totally get that.
That's why you got to tell these people, hey, shut your mouth, get out of this tow yard because we'll call the cops and I'll lock you up.
It's trespassing. It's private property, and again, once they get towed, it's done because you cannot release that vehicle because you can't prove it unless there's a VIN on them. I don't know if they have VINs on them or not.
Well, even if there is a VIN, they probably don't have the ownership papers.
Probably not. They probably bought it at the flea market or something.
Who knows? Flea market, wherever,
eBay.
From
his buddy down the road.
That was my little email to Chucky boy.
He doesn't care. He's lame duck.
No, I know that. None of them.
He didn't care when he wasn't lame duck.
None of them really care.
No, we'll see what our new mayor does, and if I don't know, we'll see. I doubt it because she's not going to want to ruffle feathers too quick, too fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It depends. I mean, if we get a Hail Mary and we get a Republican in there, the guy is a lawyer. He'll keep his feet to the fire, and we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, after your newsletter, that's why I had to put it up there and say, look at this. Even the Democrat Party is going, yeah, we're getting our asses kicked.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah. I liked it, but yeah, no, man, you had a great point. I saw that mini bike story, and of course, I thought of you because you and I have talked a lot about those stupid ass mini bikes, and so it's not like they're driving down the sidewalk. Give them a little break. Right down the road, they don't stop for stop signs. They'll cut right in front of you. They'll cut 3 lanes to make a right hand turn, and the minute one of these kids gets killed,
guess what? It's a big deal. Then it's a big deal.
Yeah,
see?
Yep. Al Sharpton and everybody and their brother will be down there saying, "Look they're killing the little black kids down in the Lower East Side on a mini bike. He wasn't doing anything. He's the victim." No, I was driving to work. Yeah.
I know.
I get it, but not. I thought of you. Trust me.
But those. But now I'm gonna get on these scooters, the electric operated scooters.
Yeah.
They're totally cannot be on the street. They can be on the sidewalk,
right? But
they cannot be on the street.
And then
here's the electric bikes can.
Right, but here's the problem. I've been down. I work downtown. I'll be on the sidewalk, just walking to work. They'll come flying. I mean, flying by you at like Mach 2 on the sidewalk with these electric bicycles.
Right,
because they're fast. Again, someone's going to, wipe out some little old lady, and then it's going to be a big to-do. And then there's like, well, why didn't you guys fix this? Well, because we didn't want to. Well, because you didn't want the political backfeed, especially coming into an election year.
Yeah. And then and one more thing I'll cover real quick is I sent emails to all the people, the councilmen and everything. I seen that story of that, the elevators.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That elevator deal.
Ridiculous.
And there was 2 police officers there. I thought to myself, now wait a minute. Joe Schimber says all the time the police are too busy.
Too busy.
Regarding the mini bikes or the fireworks writing tickets for illegal parking. Police are too busy.
Yep.
They're not too busy for elevator repair, apparently.
Because the repairman got attacked.
They got attacked, or did they get threatened?
According to the news, I was looking on the news, watching the news threads, that he was assaulted.
So they stood there while they were repairing the elevator. They should have just got the person there, took the report, and charged the individual that did the assaulting, not stand. To me, it looked like they were standing there watching the repair work.
Well, what I'm saying is I think they put the cops there as because because the repairman got assaulted, they're probably like going, "We're not coming back until you can provide safety for our workers." Then the
Well,
repairman came back.
that should have been a security job then, not a police
No,
officer's job. There should have
I don't know. You're absolutely right. But
they
again,
should have went there, took the report, who did the assaulting,
yep.
grab the guy, arrest him, or charge him, or whatever. Their job. Are they gonna stand there for 8 hours while the guy's repairing the elevator?
That's pretty much what they did.
Well, this is my point. See,
and that's why
that's not a police officer's job.
And that's why Schember got fired.
Too busy.
Yeah, he got fired.
Too busy but they're not too busy for that.
No, well, because it was in the newspaper. It was on the news.
Right there you go.
See, it's all about the PR, man. It all looked bad in an election cycle.
Yep, it becomes a big deal once it hits the news.
Well, because you got little old men and ladies stuck upstairs. They can't get down because the elevator. I can count on one hand how many times I can remember this story happening about the elevators.
Mm-hmm.
Good old keeping Erie classy.
Keeping Erie classy again. All right, I'm going to get off there.
All right,
Brian,
sir. Thanks appreciate it. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Yeah. And again, it's all about the political win. It's which way. It was election time. No one wants to hurt anybody's feelings. No, the cops, their hands are tied because, they're getting direction from the mayor. The mayor doesn't want to hassle the kids on the mini bikes until somebody gets killed. And then it's like, oh my God, how did this happen? Why did Erie Police Department let this happen? I've almost hit these kids on mini bikes flying through town. On my motorcycle, just, Brent and I going out to, we try to go around Erie now because the roads are horrendous. And you can't go downtown because the roads are like a war zone. Hi, Kim, you're live.
Well, hello, Brian. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to hear from everybody.
Nice to be back in the saddle again. I was going to play that as a theme song, but it was too much work.
Oh, it was too much work. Oh, I want to expand on what Dave was saying, and I'm so glad he brought up the mini bike thing and the electric bikes. I've talked to so many people who complain about these electric bikes running people down on the sidewalk. And that's part of my let's keep Erie streets safe, clean, and drivable, because that's one of the first things I'm going to bring up. And one thing I don't understand is where some of these little kids, I have a huge mini bike problem on my road because the guy at the end of the street builds them. And some of these kids are 9, 8, 7 years old. And where are the parents? These kids are not even wearing helmets. And I don't see why the parents can't be charged with a crime like neglect.
Well, you're not off track. I mean, you're required to wear a helmet on a bicycle under the age of 12. There's rules for that. But again, it comes down to like Dave said, what is the city? What battle are they going to fight, and which hill are they going to die on for this political punt? Well, leave the mini bikes alone. It's a city thing. Leave it alone until somebody gets hurt, and then it's going to be, oh my God, how did this happen? And
right.
We've had several accidents with these mini bikes in the city of Erie. And, I like I said, I don't know if you heard me or not. I've been on, I work downtown. I'll be walking downtown and those bicycles come flying by you on the sidewalks, flying. If he jogs left, I jog right, could take me out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's already an ordinance in place where the bikes are not supposed to be on the sidewalks. But once again, who is going to enforce these things when city council wants to take away the police overtime and not have enough police officers on the streets?
I agree. Well, it's because it's not they don't want the political pushback, because in this world now, all you have to do is pull a Karen, go to a city council meeting, raise all kinds of havoc, go on social media, and they're just picking on the poor black kids that are just trying to have some fun in the city. Well, no. There's rules and there's laws, and we have to spend a fortune to keep our vehicles legal so we can drive them down the road. Like Dave said, with a driver's license, insurance, and registration. It's a privilege, but they circumvent the rules because they're above the law, which I thought nobody was above the law, but hey, we can go down that street later. but it's just an issue of that they don't want the hassle. They put their blinders on, and long as nothing happens, it's no big deal. It's just like the elevators. Nobody cared about any of it until it got on the news. People started going on social media. Poor grandmas and grandpas are up there saying they can't get down, and then the repairman comes and gets assaulted. Well, now we have to have cops there because they're saying we're not coming to work and unless you can provide safety for us. I don't blame
And
them.
who would blame him?
Don't
And
blame
you
them.
know what? And this is, I'm glad you guys brought up the elevators because this is something I'd like to point out to voters. It wasn't just one elevator, which is always broken. Okay. I know this for a fact because I know the guys at Lakefront Flooring that are always trying to do these apartments when they get vacant. But now it was two elevators. And the person that actually brought it to the news front is our Erie County executive. The one they say is always hiding on the fifth floor.
Right.
He's the one that brought it to attention. And this is not part of his job, guys
Nope,
and girls.
not at all.
Not part of his job
Nope.
whatsoever. But he tracked down the owner of the building and says, listen, we're going to have a talk.
Well, I don't know, but where was our city councilman that represent the city? Where was our county councilman that represent that part of the city? They like to walk around and about being we're transparent, we do this and we do that. Here you have a legitimate safety issue that nobody wants to look at. You know what? If that would have been my district, I'd have been doing a Facebook Live down there. I would have put them on blast.
Oh,
I don't care who
I
owns
know
that
you would
building.
have. I know you would have. But Rock Copeland was too busy giving the vice chair of the Democratic Party, Christy Nibbitz, a job.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, people, when are you all going to wake up that this is just one big corrupt party where the Democrat controlled county council hires the vice chairman of the Democrat Party, Christy Canibus, to a cushy, a cushy, almost do nothing. She has an assistant, has an office, HRC, Human Relations Commission. They look at issues between tenant and landlord problems, and personally it should have been whacked years ago, but we just kept throwing money at it because it was the political stuff. But yeah,
All
Christy
she's
can.
going to do is send it out of town.
Right. All she has to do is, she'll have a nice, big, fancy expense. She'll be going to Harrisburg for training and doing seminars and doing what she does. Hey, look at that. Mayor Longo's here. Thanks for stopping by, sir.
Yeah, and I saw Major Daryl Owens was in the room too.
I didn't see him sneak. Man, those majors are sneaky.
Sneaky. Well, he doesn't do intelligence, but and I'd like to point out before she got hired for that. Let me tell you something. When they first said they were saving that department, I know for a fact two people, and I'm going to say it, they're both African American. Let's get into the DEI now, folks. Were more than qualified for that job, and they were told no.
Right, but they weren't. This last hire, they're not the vice chairman of the Democrat Party.
Right, but they were Democrats. And so where is Rock Copeland besides that? I'm running on transparency and I want to put more money into the city. Those people, especially Drexel, have done nothing since they got elected. Not one single thing except be obstructionist and say, Bretton Davis, Bretton Davis, Bretton Davis. And I'm so glad that they invested their hard-earned money into Perry Wood's campaign.
It is funny. It is funny, like,
it's like I've been saying ever since you helped me decide to run for city council. God is watching.
Yeah, that's why my prediction. I just kind of watched, social media and people talk, and that's why I was like, Perry Wood's he's not coming out of there. I just knew he wasn't, and thank goodness, because it doesn't matter because Bretton's going to beat him anyway. So it's
yes.
no big deal.
I completely have faith that Britain's going to win.
I have no problem with that.
And I truly believe God is watching out for all of us. He does things in a weird way. It's not for us to question why, but he does. And, speaking of the mini bikes and parents not watching, what do you think of the way those teenagers acted up at Summit in Tinseltown?
Oh, trust me, the video's on the deck. It's on the playlist.
No accountability, whatsoever, and then that poor kid, autistic, plays the violin to try and get a few bucks. They beat him up on the bus.
Yeah, I get it. And don't forget the same night on Lower Peach Street at the McDonald's, they had a little mini rumble at the it's right there by Finney's tire shop. There's a
I
McDonald's there.
saw that.
And they were
I saw
wrestling out
that.
there with the state troopers in Erie and Mill Creek. So, keeping Erie classy. Woo! Because
Well, and
Democrats
they
done
were
a great
kicking
job.
them. They were kicking the state policemen
I
and
saw that.
fighting back.
I saw that.
It's not like, when we were growing up, everybody wanted to be a policeman or a fireman or a doctor, and we had the highest respect for them. And nowadays, these kids, and I'll blame a lot of it on COVID. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. We have lost a complete generation.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, and you can look at this. You can talk to Dean Pepicello. He's talked about this on his radio show, on Joe Natale's show. It's the breakdown of the nucleus family that has really created the cracks that we have today, where who's baby daddies, who's this one, my this one, this, and that family core value isn't there. Am I saying that it was perfect? Absolutely not. But, these aren't my numbers. Again, I have to be careful because I got accused of just, making stuff up. Skewing the facts. That's what
We skew the
the
facts.
facts, right.
Yeah, according to the head of the Democratic Communist Party, the socialists. But it was so funny. I was watching a program today, and it wasn't even our age group. It was actually kids in college, okay, and kids that are graduating. The kids that actually believe in God, country, and family, they found out after they graduate that the ones who believe in those three basic things are the kids that are the happiest in life.
What a concept.
What a concept that they're actually happy, living full, happy, joyful lives. And I said, what do you know? So like I said, with this new Pope and the way he came out against, same-sex marriages and anti-abortion and everything, I'm telling you guys, I'm a true believer in prayer. And I really think God is trying to help us to save not just America, but our cities and our county. I really believe it because I'm seeing little signs all over the place.
Oh, I get it. And that's why the Democrats are coming unraveled. Look what just happened the other day. A group of Christians were outside having a peaceful protest. Here comes Antifa and all their friends, and it ends up being a whole shitstorm in Seattle. And the mayor blames the Christians.
Oh, I know. Reminds you of the Romans, doesn't it?
Yeah. They had a permit. They were peacefully singing Kumbaya and had their kids there. And here comes the Antifa, Gestapo. And then, well, unfortunately, the cops were like, well, they got arrested. Now they're not going to get charged. You watch. But then the mayor turned around and blamed the Christians for creating the problem when they were out there peacefully protesting. Not even protesting. They were just having a little get together.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am so thankful for people like Judge Deneen Pirro and A.G. Bondi that you and I both were blessed and got to meet, that they are really cracking down and going after some of these really, really left mayors right now.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And it's just this issue of these Democrats have lost their minds and they're losing, and they're losing. They're losing traction. They're losing voters. They're losing races. And, they're just like this guy that just went down. He went down to El Salvador over Memorial Day weekend. And then
I know. And even their own party's given up on that guy, saying it was a bad idea when it first started.
And then the mayor of Chicago goes online for you're thinking it's a happy respect Memorial Day, have a nice thing. Happy African American Day.
Oh, how disrespectful to our military men that sacrificed so much.
I was shocked. I didn't even know what to say. I was just sitting there going, Happy African American Day on Memorial Day?
What? Are you kidding me?
How? Well, they do it. I think they do it on purpose, just to get a bite of cycle in the news cycle. Get people talking about them. Well, you know what? I don't live in Chicago. You couldn't pay me to live there.
Well, he's already hated in Chicago by his own people.
But here's the thing. I thought the Looney Tune ex-mayor was Looney Tunes. I think, well, maybe this guy's a little bit better. No, this guy is even worse. $30,000 for makeup and hair. Give me a break.
Oh, I agree. And that's even what his constituents are saying. I mean, I think if they had their way, they would tar and feather the guy. They're like, you made us promises. That's why we voted you in, and you're worse than Lightfoot.
Happy African American Day. I didn't even know it existed. It's Memorial Day. They just want to strip down everything that we hold dear to our hearts. I think I have a video. I don't know. It's a guy at a Memorial Day parade, and he's booing the veterans as they're walking by.
I saw that long-haired. No, they're near if they had saw shit out of him.
Well, we would probably be doing a GoFundMe for some bail money on that one.
Oh, probably.
Yes.
But I hogged up a lot of your time, so I'm going to let you go. But hey, guys, we will be putting out a flyer pretty soon when I talk Brenda into making it, because I'm no good at it. Mark your calendar, save the date for July 20th, because we will be having a really fun time at a bowling party, and that will be my fundraiser. And in the meantime, everybody stay joyful. Let's hope the sun comes out pretty soon, and we'll have lots of activities to come up. And with that, you guys all have a blessed and happy evening. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
thanks,
Brenda.
Kim.
Love you both.
Thanks for the call. Brenda, you want to throw a video up?
No more distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength.
You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible.
Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
Now that's a recruitment video. If you go back during the Biden administration, I wish I had the video handy. It was a video. It was a recruitment video, and it had a female little girl growing up with two moms, and joining the military, and talking about having two moms in the military. And then they showed a Russian recruitment photo video, and I was like, we look like idiots. I mean, nobody cares in the military that you grew up with two moms, and that's who made you the person you are to join the military. And trying to explain this to your fellow soldiers that you had two moms. No, you're there. You're a warrior. You're there to do a job. It's not a fun job. It's not a glorious job. Every veteran in this room put up their right hand and took an oath to the Constitution. By the grace of God, I didn't have to fire a shot in anger. And the men and women that did, you will carry that burden forever. But unfortunately, that is who you are and why we do what we do to make our country great. Video, Brenda, please.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson decided to celebrate Africa Day on Memorial Day. Go ahead, take a look at the clip.
Hello, I am Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I am proud to join you in recognizing and celebrating Africa Day. The continent of Africa is made up of 1.2 billion people with diverse countries full of rich traditions, cultures, and heritage. The African diaspora can be found in cities and countries around the globe. And right here in Chicago, our proud African communities have made indelible contributions to the growth and fabric of our amazing city. So this Africa Day, let us take a moment to celebrate the achievements of the people of Africa, the progress made by African nations, and the traditions and culture they have shared with us. And let us also show them that we will embrace and support them as they continue to overcome and face their challenges head on. Thank you, and happy Africa Day, everyone.
Yeah, so I mean, this is completely insane. First of all, go ahead and let me know, what do you think is worse? This guy claiming we need to celebrate Africa Day on Memorial Day when it needs to only be about the troops and America and just how great the troops are for fighting for America, or the time where Biden made Easter Trans Day of Visibility. I mean, honestly, I think this in America is worse. The fact that you're going to disrespect the troops on their day, Memorial Day, and say, oh, let's celebrate Africa, folks. It's just, Africa's so great. Yeah, dude, this guy needs to be removed from office immediately. Because first of all, this is also the guy who is being investigated for racially based hiring practices. He pretty much only hires black people in his administration in, in like the city council of Chicago. So he's basically a racist who hates America and hates white people, and he just wants people to know that he'd rather celebrate Africa on Memorial Day than the troops. It's pure lunacy, folks. Pure lunacy.
Yeah. Well, of course, and then I'm going to flash back to this. Erie County Democratic Party Chairman Sam Tallarico decline in Democrat voters is consistent with the trends statewide. Statewide? I would go with countrywide there, Sammy. So you wonder why you're losing traction, because you're trying to prop up a country that is unfortunately ethnic cleansing white people right out of existence. But of course, that's just propaganda from the media and Trump. That's not really happening. That's not true. Well, remember Russia and the laptop and COVID. Remember all that stuff they shoved down our throats? Now they're trying to shove down the throats that this ethnic cleansing that Trump says is going on in Africa isn't going on. It's going on. Google it up yourself. You don't have to take my word. I don't want to be accused of, just making stuff up. I don't give a shit. It's my show. I try to make it real. I try to keep it on track, and I try to validate everything. The people the one guy that commented is a hater that always hates, and no matter what I say, he has something shitty to say about it. So I could care less. Yeah. Celebrate George Floyd. Yeah, well, that we could talk about that. Greg, thanks. Good point. The whole, women's basketball league, that whole debacle is nothing but racism just flipped around. All the black girls don't like the fact the little white girl's doing better than they are, is more popular and shoots better. So they have a moment of silence for George Floyd. Yeah. Okay. On Memorial Day. That's great. It's because that's what Memorial can't even talk tonight. Memorial Day's all about. Video, please.
Hey,
Brenda.
everybody. Happy Friday. It was another very busy week here at the White House with President Trump. Let's go through it for the MAGA Minute. This week, President Trump visited Capitol Hill to bring the historic One Big Beautiful Bill over the finish line. This bill is going to put more money back in your pockets. It's going to keep your communities safe, deliver the largest middle-class tax cut in American history, fund deportations and the completion of the border wall, and it's going to kick 1.4 million illegal aliens off of your taxpayer-funded benefits. Also on the legislative front, the president signed the First Lady's sponsored Take It Down Act, ensuring protections for young people who are targets of malicious deepfakes and personal attacks on social media. President Trump also attended the Make America Healthy Again Commission's release of its landmark report, which exposes key factors contributing to childhood chronic diseases and points to a path forward to make our children healthy again. The president hosted the White House's annual Take Our Sons and Daughters to Work Day celebration. President Trump also announced an implementation plan for the Golden Dome to protect our nation from wide-ranging global missile threats. He also hosted the South African president at the White House and signed executive orders to start a nuclear renaissance in the United States. The president also hosted a law enforcement event in the Oval Office and awarded the first ever Medals of Sacrifice to 3 heroic police officers. And finally, gas prices have dropped this Memorial Day to their lowest price in more than 20 years. You're welcome, America. Wishing you a blessed Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Yeah, price of eggs are down, gasoline's down, inflation's down, market's up. I just don't understand. I mean, I know why the Democrats hate it, because they can't produce what we've been producing, and they can't bring forward what we've been bringing forward, because we actually, I don't know, what's that word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, care about this country.
Video surveillance and eyewitness reports, City of Erie police have been able to track down the teens suspected of assaulting a street violinist. The assault occurred last Tuesday at the corner of 9th and Peach Streets. Police say 5 teenage boys started arguing with a 23-year-old musician on an EMTA bus. The altercation continued when they all got off the bus. At that point, Deputy Chief Rick Laura says 2 of the teenagers took off, but 3 of them allegedly assaulted the violinist, kicking and punching him multiple times. The victim was treated and released from a local hospital. The suspects were tracked down and charged as juveniles yesterday.
Our detectives were able to, track down these individuals through not only talking with witnesses on scene and the victim, but, using, the camera from the bus and using the cameras from the surrounding businesses. So it didn't take long.
Laura says the teens charged will face assault charges in juvenile court in the coming days.
It will eliminate taxes on tips and overtime, put about $50 billion towards the border wall and hiring Border Patrol agents, keep in place existing individual tax rates, create savings accounts for kids with a one-time deposit of $1,000, increase the child tax credit by about $500. The bill on this is estimated to be between $4 and $5 trillion over the next decade. How much do you think this is all going to cost?
Well, that's about the right estimate, but at the same time, we have historic savings for the American people, cuts to government to make it more efficient and effective and work better for the people. That was a big campaign promise of President Trump and a big promise of ours, and we're going to achieve that. So in the calculation here, there's more than $1.5 trillion in savings, Margaret, for the people, and that's the largest amount, biggest cut in government really in at least 30 years, and if you adjust for inflation, probably the largest in the history of government. So we're proud of what we produced here. We've checked all the boxes. We're all the things that you mentioned in existence in addition to American energy dominance, investing in our military industrial base, which is appropriate for us to talk about this weekend, and so many other priorities. And that's why we call it the One Big Beautiful Bill. I think arguably it's the most consequential legislation that Congress will pass in many generations, and it's a long time coming.
It will eliminate taxes on tips and overtime, put about $50 billion toward.
Well, yeah, again, back to what we were just talking about. It all comes back together where, it's a winning. And Miss Crockett was talking about how Trump he has to have his brain tested because he's crazy and he's got Alzheimer's, he's got this and he's got that. He's in cognitive, he can't do this. You know what's funny? We said the same thing about, Sniffy Joe, and all we got, no, he's laser focused, most intelligent guy I know. And look at that. Another big fat lie, because that's what they do best. And then they point their fingers at us, call us Nazis and fascists, when They're the actual fascists that are shutting us down, allowing us to have our freedoms. But that's how it actually works. And they're very proud of that. And there's a whole group of them running around in Erie. They just love all that. And that's fine. And it's funny. They're business owners, but they don't understand that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Brenda. Light up.
I don't get it. What happened? It was so bizarre. Look, I just get him here now! Take off your mustache! I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Bro, come outside! Fuck up in there. You got my phone. How do you feel? This is 17-year-old girl. That's a kid. What you is with the girl? I'm gonna deal with your face, bitch. Hey, you have a girl and see me outside. That shit ain't nothing to me, nigga. That shit ain't nothing to me, nigga. You still running your mouth? Look at your face! Look at your face! I don't give a fuck. That shit ain't nothing to me. Who got a they still fighting.
Now, I'm going to stop it real quick here. The first one you saw was obviously in Tinseltown, obviously. And of course, we talked about the other events that were going on that night. Now, this is just down the road on Pete Street, right there. You can see the white garage doors. I think that's Finney's or Dunn's or something, but it's the McDonald's right on Pete Street. So yeah, here's the second one.
Back up! She's 15 years old! You stop! You stop! Back up! Hands behind your back! Hands behind your back! And I roll over. Bro, chill out, bro! This is gonna be fun. I don't give a fuck about that shit. That's my daughter. She's 16. Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop. Look what the fuck he doing? Put your hand behind your back. What the fuck he doing? Look at him! 16-year-old kid. Hey, nobody touch you. You fucking touch me. Vanessa, please, come on. She only 100-something pounds. So that ain't tripping. Big as fuck. Hey, don't touch her. Don't touch her again. Don't touch my sister. Do not touch her. Please back up. Please back up.
Give me.
Well, I know that was a couple minutes long. It's a little over 5 minutes long, but we wanted to show you this is the stuff that goes on around you all over the place that never makes the news. A, I don't know why. B, because it's the local news has a tendency to only do like the really, really heavy stuff or puppy dogs. They don't like this kind of action, I guess. So, this was all on the internet, of course, shot by somebody, had no clue. It did make the news. The Tinseltown thing did make the news. Dave sent a video, but we kind of like scrunched them together and put them together for time. But yeah, we tell you this stuff, we show you this stuff to keep you guys, kind of frosty. Make sure you're paying attention to your surroundings. Make sure you lock your doors. If it doesn't feel right, leave. It's not that big of a deal. And here folks are just going out to a movie, and these people gonna act like knuckleheads. And what good does it do? What does that gain? Absolutely nothing. It just goes to show you how bad of our society has become, and where we have to lock our doors. We have to put security cameras up here. Thank God that these people were dumb enough. Smart enough to record all this, because I don't know the video cameras in the McDonald's. I don't think they'd release it. I'm assuming they would give it to the state troopers. I don't know if the folks of Tinseltown would give it out, but here you have people feeding it on their cameras and probably doing Facebook Lives. So yeah, thanks for the introduction of the smartphones. We get to have all this stuff, and again, it's Stan Erie doing Erie things. You're absolutely right. That was actually Summit and Erie. So, technically you're still right. Another video.
The 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has officially been charged with first-degree murder in the state of Texas in the killing of Austin Metcalf. Even though he's only 17, they have decided they will be trying him as an adult. With this first-degree murder, this carries life in prison in Texas. Them charging him with first-degree murder is significant because in the state of Texas, one of the predicates for first-degree murder is premeditation, and the prosecution feels fairly confident that they can get that conviction. Now, this case has sparked a lot of controversy, race baiting, and hatred all across the internet. But when it comes to the courtroom, all of those social media warrior comments are going to be irrelevant when it comes down to the letter of the law. And Carmelo Anthony already confessed multiple times to law enforcement. And personally, after reading the police reports and the witness statements, I think he's cooked, and the prosecution does too. In fact, it takes a lot to get a first-degree murder conviction, so the fact that they're going for that means that they feel they can definitely get it. But what do y'all guys think about this? Let me know down in the comments.
Y'all gotta see this. So Brittany Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks from the bench after getting fouled out by Caitlin Clark. I mean, this is just insane. Just watch this video, bro.
He's fifth.
I don't know if you guys could read lips as good as I can, but we all know what she said right there. I mean, she's talking about her skin color. I mean, this is just insane. There's no place for this in sports. And now Brittany Griner is being banned for the WNBA for this. She'd also been completely crashing out recently and every single year, but this year is like extreme. I mean, watch this.
BG, right now you have 10 points, 5 rebounds. We see the Atlanta Dream as being very... Right now she's talking to the refs about holding. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Mid-interview, screaming at the official when she's walking past. I mean, this is just multiple reasons why Brittany Griner is being banned from the WNBA. But let me know what you guys think.
I tell you what, if I was in her shoes or his shoes or whoever the shoes are, depends on where you get your stuff. I think I would be a little more humble. The fact that I'm not sitting in a Russian jail somewhere rotting, and the administration was able to, get you out and have you come home. And then they just absolutely just dogpile the white girl. And I'm not a big basketball fan. I don't really pay attention to it, but I started watching how they have been just so brutal to her. It's racism. It's simple as that. You can't be racist because you're black and you're white. No, actually, I think you can be boys and girls, but Hey,
you
hold
wear
on.
queers for
Video,
Palestine
please.
t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers union education party, and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but f your feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched. Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded.
It's pretty bad when your own Democrat comedians are turning against the Democrats, because you got to look at his age. He's one of those older, moderate Democrats where, you know, this thing that they're trying to shove down our throats doesn't work. It's not real. It's all baloney. It's not real. They're losing. They're going to lose. They know they're going to lose the midterms. They lost the presidency on two different scales. They got the popular and college electoral vote system. They won in two categories. So that's a very clear message. Even your comedians that usually are bashing Trump have kind of laid off him a little bit. He's like, well, actually, he's kind of getting it right. You know, this immigration thing was a joke, absolute joke. And every time I go online, I'll search up, you know, building of the wall. I just sit back and smile, because you know what? It's been done in less than in several months. You know, they had 4 years to play with this thing, and they couldn't do it. And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because they didn't want to do it. But then we come in with a new administration. Boom, couple months. What is it? 93% border crossings are down. 93%. And then now we just got to scoop them all up and ship them on back. Video, please, Brandon. You got to love AI. You got to love it. I mean, that's pretty much it for the show. Like I said, I want to keep it around about an hour. I don't want to push my throat, my voice too hard. It's still a little under the weather. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate everybody who won tonight. What channel won tonight? I would have, well, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook did well. X and YouTube did X. Well, you know, JD, thanks for coming in. You should have next time just come in and call or set up a video link, and we'll have a chat about your neck of the woods. Appreciate everything you guys do. Thanks for all the kind words when I was out and about. I didn't make a big deal on social media that I was in a hospital. No big deal. You know, the people that knew knew, and that's all that mattered. We're home. I got some great people making sure that I'm okay. Again, a special thank you to Brenda for making sure all the videos are done right. And when I ask for a video, they magically play. So let's watch our sixes. Let's be careful. Let's lock our doors. Let's get those Ring cameras. Let's get some motion lights up, out and running. We have to do this better, Erie, because Erie is doing Erie stuff, and we are better than that. So let's spend a little bit of money, invest in some security, and trust me, it'll come back in double folds for you. Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate it. Check out.
And I'm a poor loser, and I lost my...
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you. I'm going to have a cup of tea and some honey, and that'll be my day. Thank you all again. Special thanks to Brenda. This show is about you guys, and we appreciate all your input, sending us stories, sending us videos, sending us news articles. That is definitely a team effort, and we appreciate that. And like we always say, Shank out.